The dissonant hum of the ion drive usually soothed Matt Calvin, a predictable drone signaling the lucrative void between pickups and drop-offs. His ship, the ironically named Stardust Drifter, kept pristine by sea. His engineer and conscience was his chariot across the galaxy, preferably aimed towards maximum profit for minimal effort. He drifted, professionally. He often recalled Instructor Vorlog's final, gravel-voiced assessment at the Courier Guild Academy. Cadet Calvin, your aptitude is adequate, your instincts bordering on brilliant, but your adherence to procedure is a joke, your efficiency an insult, and your attitude suggests the galaxy owes you a permanent vacation. You chase the path of least resistance like water finds the lowest ground. That path leads to mediocrity, Calvin, or worse, atomization in some forgotten asteroid field because you skimped on pre-flight. Checks! Matt's lazy salute had been his only reply before seeking the easiest contracts the fringe offered. Mediocrity, he'd found, was comfortably predictable. Effort, not failure, was the true enemy. This job, however, grated against his ingrained apathy. The pay was obscene. Borderline, suspicious, for delivering a simple gift basket to the Valerian royal palace. Valeris, a name whispered in courier cantinas, synonymous with obsessive isolationism, bizarre customs, and vanishing ships. A planet deliberately folded away from galactic traffic, notorious for ensnaring outsiders in bureaucratic knots that made guild regulations seem straightforward. Most pilots gave its sector a wide berth, yet the anonymous client offered enough credits to fund a year, maybe two, of blissful inertia. Laziness wrestled with deep-seated suspicion. Laziness, backed by a mountain of credits. One, beside him, the multifaceted optical sensors of Bark, his mechanoid co-pilot salvaged from a Cygnus X1 scrap heap, swiveled, rebuilt by sea, after being found legless and memory wiped. Bark retained a core directive pieced together from data fragments: fulfill the contract, maintain operational integrity with the primary user. Matt interpreted it as a literal, unwavering loyalty born perhaps from a fear of abandonment. Bark never complained, merely executed duties. Probability of this contract's legitimacy is 47.3%, Matthew, Bark stated, his vocalizer unnervingly smooth. Remuneration exceeds standard galactic rates for cargo of this nature and destination by a factor of 12. Valeris maintains restricted airspace. The ease of obtaining clearance presents a statistical anomaly. Matt stretched, performing nonchalance. Exactly, Bark exceeds. Think of the downtime. Sharp with familiar skepticism, crackled over the intercom from the engine room. Simple. Delivering to Valerian royals during their convergence of suns. Matt. It's their biggest celestial festival in a century. Sacred, volatile, and prone to misunderstandings when off-worlders stumble in looking lost. Sci wasn't just his engineer. She was the reason the drifter still flew. He'd met her after ignoring navigation warnings led him straight into an ion storm. Stranded and systems fried. Her freelance diagnostic skills, picked up from a nearby station's faint distress call, had saved him. She'd berated him for 6 hours straight, while simultaneously rebuilding his ship's core functions. He'd offered her a permanent post. She'd demanded triple hazard pay and absolute authority over maintenance. Their partnership thrived on her exasperation and his knack for finding lucrative, questionable gigs. Relax. See, Matt soothed, activating the main view screen. Valeris emerged, a breathtaking jewel of emerald and sapphire against cosmic velvet, encircled by shimmering rings of captured ice. Serene, detached. undeniably beautiful. Will be ghosts. In, out rigor. What could possibly go wrong delivering a gift basket? Bark's photoreceptors blinked slowly. Statistically, Matthew, misidentification causing diplomatic incident, spoilage due to unknown atmospheres, violation of unstated protocols, accidental provocation of defenses resulting in vessel destruction, triggering ancient prophecies. All right, Captain Downer, point taken, Matt muttered, guiding the drifter towards the designated entry vector. Valerian orbital control granted permission with unnerving speed. Old but formidable energy shields flickered. Automated weapon platforms tracked them with silent menace. Too easy. Just like Vorlog warned, a nagging voice whispered. Within, the Valerian royal palace, Queen Vedra, stood before the vast star map holo display. Regal composure a thin veil over simmering impatience. High Counselor Torvin, whose adherence to tradition often bordered on obstruction, frowned beside her. Majesty. Torvin's voice resonated with disapproval. The convergence preparations are fragile. Introducing this offering of potential from an anonymous off-world source. Delivered by an unknown courier mere hours before the apex. It deviates dangerously from scripture. The prophecies speak of a Valerian chosen. Vedra turned, her obsidian eyes sharp. The scriptures speak of potential. Counselor. Of the alignment selecting the worthy. For generations, we've hoped the founder lineage's latent abilities would manifest. Yet suitor after suitor fails the simplest attunement. The bloodline thins. Isolation preserved us, but it also stagnated. Use. Her gaze swept across the star map to the vast unknown beyond their borders. Perhaps potential lies not only within, but without. This offering, this courier, catalysts, Torvin, introduced at the precise celestial moment. If the stars favor this path, who are we to question? The convergence demands a worthy recipient for the Solera gem. If our nobles lack the spark, perhaps this artifact holds the key. Torvin remains skeptical, and if this courier disrupts the ceremony, if the offering is unsuitable. The noble houses already chafe. The fallout could be severe. The houses will align. Vedra stated coolly. Direct the courier precisely. The stars will decide. Her hand tightened almost imperceptibly. They must, she thought. Valeris must awaken. Descending through shimmering gold and rose clouds, the capital unfolded, a breathtaking city of soaring crystalline towers and biodomes seamlessly woven into the lush landscape. Rivers of light flowed between structures powered by geothermal vents and solar fabrics. At its heart, pulsing with palpable energy, stood the royal palace, a structure of impossible angles and shimmering surfaces, like solidified light. They were directed to a prominent landing platform near the main palace, nestled amongst gardens of bioluminescent flora. An honor guard awaited, clad in iridescent armor shifting from violet to gold, faces impassive behind translucent visors, energy rifles held at ceremonial rest. Silent, scrutiny. Matt smoothed his worn courier jacket, attempting an air of professional detachment he didn't feel. Right. Bark. Stay with the ship. Diagnostics. Secure comms and discourage parking attendants. Acknowledged. Engaging external sensors and level 3 security. C. Matt added via private comm. Keep engines warm. Maybe look. Non-threatening if anyone snoops. Non-threatening. C's voice was dry. Matt. I'm currently bypassing their platform security grid to avoid clamps. Detection wouldn't scream harmless. Be quick. This place radiates wrongness. He retrieved the gift basket from stasis. Heavier than expected. The box was carved from dark, fragrant wood inlaid with shifting patterns. No scanner penetrated its sophisticated sensor-dampening field. Flanked by silent, imposing guards, Matt was escorted through corridors that felt ancient, alive. Walls pulsed with soft light. The air hummed with low-frequency energy. They crossed vast courtyards filled with glowing flora, passing Valerians in jewel-toned robes, whose expressions ranged from curiosity to open disapproval. He was a smudge of utilitarian gray in a world of luminous ritual. Snippets of translated Valerian reached him, off-worlder, prophecy, disruption, Phaedra's gamble. They halted before a vast chamber open to the sky, where Valaris's twin suns, one gold, one rose, bathed everything in surreal light. Thousands filled tiered galleries, focused on a raised dais. Matt recognized Queen Phaedra, tall, imposing. Silver-streaked hair swept up, eyes missing nothing. Beside her, Princess Alira, whose beauty mirrored her mother's but was tempered by a weary resignation Matt found unsettlingly familiar. She looked less like royalty awaiting suitors, more like a prisoner awaiting sentence. Trapped. Low. Complex chanting filled the air. The energy was electric. Matt shuffled awkwardly, clutching the heavy box. This wasn't the discreet drop-off he'd envisioned. A guard gestured curtly towards the dais. Apparently, the fruit basket was part of the show. Great, Matt muttered. Public fruit delivery. He was ushered forward, the crowd parting, murmurs following him. All eyes fixed on the strange off-worlder in the worn jacket. He reached the dais, feeling minuscule under the collective gaze of royalty, stern nobles, and the assembled thousands. Queen Phaedra's eyes narrowed, assessing him. Princess Alira's expression flickered, surprise, annoyance, curiosity, before smoothing back into neutral formality. Though her eyes tightened, a high-ranking official in star-embroidered robes stepped forward, High Counselor Torvin. He spoke in resonant Valerian, the translator struggling with the archaic dialect. You bring the offering of potential, as dictated by the ancient stars and laws of convergence. Matt blinked. Offering of potential. Gift basket. Special delivery for the palace. He held out the box, feeling ridiculous. Torvin glanced at the queen, who gave an almost imperceptible nod, with exaggerated reverence tinged with skepticism. Torvin took the box. It seemed heavier now. He placed it on an ornate altar before the princess and began a lengthy recitation invoking stars, ancestors, spirits. Matt's attention drifted. The dual sunlight was warm, the chanting hypnotic. His stomach rumbled loudly in a pause. Nearby nobles glared. Finally, Torvin opened the box. Inside, on iridescent moss, lay a single fruit, unlike anything Matt had seen, roughly mango-sized. It pulsed with soft light, its skin swirling, with shifting colors mirroring the twin suns: violet, emerald, gold, rose. It smelled incredible: citrus, spice, honey, and something fundamentally satisfying. Torvin lifted the fruit. The crowd gasped as its light intensified, casting prismatic reflections. The Solara gem, Torvin proclaimed, his voice ringing with newfound conviction. Blessed by the converging suns, he who was worthy, chosen by the celestial alignments at this apex, shall partake and bind his fate to the royal line. Seeking the princess's favor through the trials of accord, Matt registered trials of accord vaguely. His focus was entirely on the fruit. The Solara gem. It looked divine, mouth-watering. His stomach roared. Torvin presented the fruit momentarily towards the princess, who looked away, a flicker of distaste crossing her features. Then chaos erupted. A small, six-legged creature with iridescent fur darted from behind a pillar, chittering, perhaps drawn by the scent or light. It zipped across the dais, directly into Torvin's path. Startled, trying to avoid the creature, the High Council stumbled backwards, losing his grip. The Solara gem flew from his grasp, tumbling end over end in a luminous arc, straight towards Matt. Instinct, hunger, years of catching falling cargo. Pure reflex took over. Matt's hand shot out, snatching the fruit neatly from the air. Absolute silence descended. Everyone stared. Matt stared back, realizing he held the glowing, impossibly fragrant fruit. His stomach raged. The smell was intoxicating. Without conscious thought, driven by primal impulse and skipped meals, Matt lifted the Solara gem and took a large, decisive bite. The flavor exploded cosmic. Sweet, tart, savory, effervescent, hitting every pleasure receptor simultaneously, like tasting liquid starlight, distilled joy. He chewed, swallowed, blinked, the perfect aftertaste lingering. Only then did the silence register, pressing in like a physical weight. He became aware of the absolute, horrified stillness. Every Valerian stared, utterly shocked. Torvin looked ready to implode. Princess Alira's eyes were wide with disbelief, horror, and was that a flicker of stunned amusement? Queen Vaedra's face, however, was cold, calculating fury. Matt swallowed the last delicious morsel, wiping glowing juice from his chin. "Wow," he said, his voice echoing. "That was, seriously, good. 5 stars. You guys should bottle this." He looked at the sea of aghast faces. What was that important? Torvin found his voice, trembling with rage and violated protocol. "You, fool, ignorant off-worlder, you have consumed the Solara gem, ingested the offering of potential during the sacred convergence. At the precise apex," he pointed a shaking finger, "by the unbreakable laws, by the witness of the twin suns, you have declared yourself a suitor. You are now bound to the trials of accord." Matt's brain, reeling from flavor and escalating disaster, processed, bound, suitor, trials of accord. He looked at the horrified nobles, the furious queen, the surprisingly intrigued-looking princess who quickly masked it. He thought of his easy gig, his planned year of lazy drifting. He managed a weak smile. Trials. Does that mean the delivery fee is performance-based now? Bark's voice crackled urgently in his ear via C's override. Matthew. Detecting elevated biosignatures indicating extreme distress and aggression. Multiple personal shield activations among nobles. Palace security weapons powering up. My earlier negative outcome probability appears profoundly conservative. Advise clarifying intentions regarding matrimony before lethal force scenario escalates. Matt closed his eyes. The Solara gem's sweetness turning bitter. Gift basket. What could possibly go wrong? Apparently, everything. Stage 2. Reaction and integration. The immediate aftermath was less violent, more chaotically bureaucratic than expected. Though the menace was palpable, no summary execution, a minor win. Instead, royal guards, rifles now decidedly less ceremonial, escorted him like a quarantined specimen to opulent but heavily secured chambers. A beautiful dock cage. Sci and Bark joined him hours later. After Sci's blend of technical threats and masterful negotiation convinced Security Chief Lyra, a woman with paint-stripping eyes, that the Drifter's experimental warp core needed her constant, unique calibration to avoid irradiating the palace gardens. Bark regarded as potentially dangerous luggage. endured repeated scans before admittance. So, C paced their luxurious prison, arms crossed tight. Let me be clear. You took a job Bark flagged as 53% dodgy, flew to an isolationist monarchy known for bizarre rituals, arrived, mid-sacred ceremony, and then ate the prophecy-laden, potentially radioactive space fruit meant for royal suitors, thereby accidentally proposing to a princess you've never met and binding yourself by ancient law to lethal trials for her hand. Matt, sprawled on a divan whose living moss, upholstery seemed to recoil from C's fury, pulled a cushion over his face. Phrased like that, it sounds suboptimal. Suboptimal. C glared at the cushion. Matt, this isn't for getting a docking fee. These laws predate the Federation. Laws involving celestial entities and unbreakable vows. Trials of Accord sounds like something sadists devised to ensure only genetically perfect warrior poets survive to propagate their photogenic bloodline. Bark, rigid near the door, added, analysis of limited historical data suggests trials of Accord fatality or catastrophic injury rate exceeds 88%. Success correlates inversely with off-world origin. Matt groaned into the cushion. Okay, I get it. Huge mistake. Possibly biggest fruit-related error since the fermented Krellian melon incident on Rigel 7, which we agreed never to discuss. What now? Is there diplomatic immunity for terminal stupidity? Information, C said. Engineer brain overriding panic. Already scanning for surveillance or network access. What are these trials? Rules. Loopholes for painless withdrawal from princess marrying duties. Withdrawal is not viable, Bark stated, consuming. The gem at the apex constitutes an unbreakable vow. Reneging would be a grave insult to the throne. Princess. Twin sons, sacred soil, founders, and invoked celestial entities, likely triggering punitive measures beyond execution, possibly ritualistic dismantling or indefinite servitude in the dilithium mines. Ritualistic dismantling, Matt muttered, keeps getting better. He could almost hear Vorlag laughing. A chime, announced Princess Alira, accompanied by two guards who remained outside, dismissing them. She regarded Matt and his crew with cool appraisal. No trace of earlier panic or amusement. Up close. Her regal bearing carried an undercurrent of sharp intelligence and profound weariness that resonated unexpectedly with Matt. Courier Matt Calvin, she said calmly, the translator rendering perfect, measured tones. Your actions caused considerable disruption. Matt scrambled up, trying to look less like a man contemplating fruit-induced demise. Your Highness. Princess. MAAM. Massive misunderstanding. Colossal. Just a delivery guy. Fruit smelled good. Hungry. Impulse control issues, my therapist would say, if I had one. No offense intended. To anyone or anything. Alira tilted her head. Ignorance of the law, however profound, is rarely a valid defense on Valeris, especially concerning dynastic succession violated so publicly and with such gusto. A fleeting smile touched her lips. However, your unique entry method presents complications. Complications I'd love to uncomplicate. Matt offered eagerly. Nearest emergency exit. I'll sign waivers. Pay for the fruit triple. Write a multi-page apology. Not that simple, Alira interrupted smoothly. The vow was made under the Convergence apex. The trials are mandated by millennia-old law. Deviating now would destabilize the crown and undermine the Convergence protocols. My mother, a subtle emphasis, a hint of friction, insists tradition be upheld rigorously. She sees this as A test of fate. So, I actually have to do these trials? Matt asked, dread dot tightening. Like, for real? Juggling plasma conduits blindfolded, reciting epics backwards while dodging asteroids. 3 trials, Alira explained patiently, ignoring his flippancy, though her eyes held understanding. Designed centuries ago to test essential consort qualities, strategy. Within the labyrinth of whispers, courage, in the perilous Shadowfen jungles, and harmony. Activating the Celestial Navigator artifact at the remote Sky Peak Shrine. Sai sucked in a breath. Labyrinth of whispers. Shadowfen jungles, Sky Peak Shrine. Sounds less like aptitude tests, more like levels in a lethal game designed by homicidal maniacs. Alira's expression remained guarded. Formidable challenges. Engineer designed to reveal intellect.bravery.resourcefulness. Compatibility with Valeris itself. Few succeed in the first. None have completed all 3 in living. Memory. Deeply comforting. Matt muttered. Hypothetically, if I survive, do I actually have to? You know. He gestured vaguely towards her. Flushing. Tie the knot. Alira met his gaze directly. Completion proves worthiness by ancient law. Worthiness earns the right to formally ask for my hand, my acceptance, she added, with quiet defiance. Remains my choice. Respect flickered in Matt. She had agency. Right. Okay. Good to know. Theoretical question. What if I fail? Spectacularly. Faceplant in trial 1. Twist an ankle. Forfeit. Failure means immediate disqualification and expulsion. Alira stated, coolly assuming. Her voice dropped slightly. You survived the failure. The trials don't always permit simple disqualification. Expulsion sounded fantastic, maybe spectacular. Non-fatal failure was the strategic play. When does this fun begin? Matt asked. The trial of strategy commences at the next solar alignment. 3 rotations from now, Alira informed him. You may use the time to prepare. Access to basic training facilities and royal archives pertaining to the trials will be permitted under guard. Your companions, glancing at sea and bark, may assist within designated areas, but cannot accompany you into the trials. She paused at the doorway. Courier Calvin. Her expression softened fractionally. Advice. The labyrinth doesn't reward brute force, nor suffer fools. And try not to eat any more ceremonial artifacts. Replacement. Costs are steep. Another fleeting, enigmatic smile, and she was gone. Matt sank onto the divan. Okay. Strategy. Labyrinth. 3 days. How hard can it be? Bark's photoreceptors focused. Designation labyrinth of whispers and objective testing strategies suggest high probability of psychotropic auditory hallucinations, illusory pathways, logical paradoxes, shifting architecture, and lethal hazards disguised as shortcuts. Difficulty quantification, significantly high, bordering on extreme for unprepared subjects. Seaside, rubbing her temples. All right, Matt, forget the year off. Lazy days are over. Let's hit those archives. If you're going to accidentally try and marry a princess by eating her magic fruit, you're damn well going to survive the first date. Stage 3. Escalation and connection. The next 3 Valerian rotations were a frantic blur, a jarring contrast to Matt's preferred state of strategic avoidance. Sai plunged into the royal archives, vast chambers of glowing data shards and holographic interfaces with the intensity she normally reserved for decrypting encrypted manifests or coaxing warp coils. Access was limited. Key files on Founder Tech and Labyrinth schematics remained locked, either by ancient protocols or Queen Vadra's order. Bark processed accessible data at inhuman speed, cross-referencing failed trials, analyzing contradictory schematics, and compiling profiles of victims and the rare survivors. Swirling probability models filled the chamber walls, highlighting potential traps, though uncertainty remained high. Matt, jolted by the statistically significant threat of becoming permanent Valerian scenery, actually applied himself. He wrestled with Bark's translations, trying to grasp the labyrinth's philosophy, not just a maze, but an ancient construct predating the current dynasty, built by the mysterious founders. It tested mental fortitude, logical discipline, discerning truth from pervasive illusion, core principle, misdirection layered with psychological warfare. Sci summarized late on the second. Rotation, pointing at a flickering projection of a junction described in a fragmented account paths appearing safe, led to oubliettes. Walls whispered promises before dissolving into pitfalls. Obvious paths, tempting shortcuts. Emotionally charged choices lead to dead ends or traps. The correct path is often counterintuitive, hidden, or requires ignoring primal fears. Furthermore, Bark added, processors humming. Analysis indicates whispers are dynamically generated, personalized auditory and sometimes tactile hallucinations. The labyrinth mechanism accesses the subject's neural pathways, exploiting insecurities nons, anxieties, fears. He projected a list: failure, claustrophobia, loss, betrayal, inadequacy. A chill traced Matt's spine. Great, Matt grimaced. A personalized haunted maze using my own worst thoughts as GPS. Sounds like Tuesday morning, but with higher stakes and probably more slime. He had plenty for the labyrinth to feast on. Vorlog's disapproving face. Failed relationships. The time he almost lost the previous drifter cutting corners. Focus, Matt. C insisted. If whispers target emotion, the counter is logic, cold. Hard logic, taunt, analyze, input, tight, nor fear. And look, this recurring motif. Celestial alignments. She highlighted obscure texts mentioning the twin suns or Valaris's 3 moons. Many suggest the labyrinth's configuration shifts based on solar and lunar positions relative to the shrine, light angles, energy, frequencies. The path might only be revealed or accessible under specific, transient conditions. Calculating precise solar-lunar positions for trial commencement and projected duration, Bark announced. Cross-referencing with limited architectural features, optimal path probabilities, fluctuating based on light interaction models, high uncertainty due to encrypted core schematics. Matt practiced rudimentary Valerian meditation focusing breath, shielding the mind. Ridiculous, like holding back a tide with a teacup. But he tried. He reviewed Bark's logic puzzles, spatial reasoning, paradox resolution. Sci rigged a crude simulator using scavenged holoprojectors and Bark's emitters, mimicking disorienting environments and personalized whispers based on his known screw-ups. Unnerving, headache-inducing. But it forced him to practice filtering noise, focusing on patterns. Late on the final rotation, Alira visited again, ostensibly with atmospheric readings, but her gaze took in their frantic preparations. She brought a small tapestry depicting the labyrinth not as architecture, but as a constellation, paths drawn between stars. The archives offer data, she said quietly, gesturing to the tapestry, but understanding sometimes requires perspective. Early Valerians saw the labyrinth as a microcosm of the cosmos complex, deceptive, but governed by underlying laws, rhythms, harmony through understanding, not conflict. She met Matt's eyes, whispers, tempt towards chaos, internal discord. Seek the pattern beneath. Courier, seek the constant within the change. Matt studied the tapestry, then Alira. Away from ceremony and guards, she seemed thoughtful. Younger, Harmony, he repeated. Easy for you to say, Your Highness. You're not the one. About to be psychologically dismantled by ancient alien architecture. A small smile. Perhaps not. But I have faced my own labyrinths. Matt Calvin, constructed of duty, expectation, my mother's will. The admission hung in the air, a brief, unexpected glimpse behind the facade. Find the rhythm, she repeated softly, then left. Matt looked from the tapestry to see Embark. Fear remained, cold and heavy, but mingled now with stubborn determination, fueled by Alira's vulnerability and C's faith in problem-solving. Accidental suitor or not, Practical Palace issued clothing. Sturdy boots. No tech save a basic chronometer and water flask. C gave a tight hug, pressing something small, clapping Bark's shoulder plating. Keep Psy out of trouble. Alira and Queen Vedra observed from a shielded balcony with officials and nobles. Alira's expression was neutral, but Matt saw concern, hope perhaps. Her hands were clasped tightly. Vedra's face was granite, eyes cold, anticipating failure. Torvin looked profoundly uncomfortable nearby. The High Counselor stepped forward, voice amplified. Suitor Matt Calvin of Off-World, still disgusted. You face the first trial, test of mind and metal. Enter the labyrinth of whispers. Find the sunstone beacon within its heart before the twin suns complete their zenith passage. Logic is your only weapon. Focus your only shield. May the founders deem you adequate. Let the trial commence. With a deep breath that did little for the frantic drumming in his chest, Matt gave C and Bark one last look, met Alira's gaze fleetingly, and stepped through the arch. Stage 4, midpoint, the labyrinth of whispers. The moment he crossed the threshold, the world vanished. Silence slammed down, profound and unnerving. The air cooled, tasting of ancient dust, damp stone, ozone dot behind. Him the arch shimmered, then solidified into seamless obsidian. Sealed inside, alone, a featureless gray stone corridor stretched ahead, absorbing faint, ambient light, immediately branching into 3 identical paths. No clues, no signs, just silent stone, oppressive emptiness. Okay, Calvin, he muttered, voice loud. Rule 1, don't trust the obvious. Rule 2, Vorlog was probably right. He recalled C on alignments, Alira on rhythm, checked his chronometer. Suns climbing towards zenith. Looked up. Faint light shifts filtering through unseen apertures. The leftmost path seemed marginally brighter, too obvious. A trap, or the labyrinth already playing mind games. He trusted the light observation. Testable hypothesis. Find the rhythm. Left path. Cautiously. Footsteps echoing. The silence frayed. Faint whispers, sibilant, unintelligible, tickled his hearing. He forced focus on the path, the stone texture, the slight incline, the gentle curve hiding what lay ahead. Another junction, 5 tunnels radiating like fingers, whispers louder, clearer, coalescing into familiar voices. Lost already, courier, hissed Instructor Vorlag's gravelly tone from the walls. Always. The easy way. Calvin. Cut corners. Minimum effort. You'll never find the center. Not smart enough. Give up. Find a nice corner. Probably designed for failures like you. Matt flinched. Too close. Deep breath. Logic. Pattern. Examined the junction. One sloped down into darkness. One angled sharply. Up. 3 roughly level. Closed his eyes. filtering Vorlag, focusing on acoustics. The central level tunnel carried a faint, almost sub-audible resonance, a subtle vibration underfoot, a rhythm. He chose the central tunnel. Whispers intensified, shifting, becoming personal. "They're laughing. You know," murmured C's voice, pityingly. The accidental suitor, fool who ate the fruit, mocking their traditions. "They'll never respect you." Alira just feels sorry for the pathetic off-worlder her mother toys with. Failure is statistically probable. Matthew stated a flat, bark-like tone behind him. Trajectory and stress indicators confirm terminal outcome, 88.3% likely. Conserve energy. Accept fate. Gritting his teeth, he pushed forward. The labyrinth used voices he trusted, twisting perceptions into weapons. He focused harder, light shifts, faint resonance, navigated junctions, using acoustics shouting, listening to echoes, light angles mapping impacts on corners, calculated guesses eliminating obvious threats or temptations, encountered illusory walls shimmering like water, vanishing on touch, tested ground constantly with pebbles, discovering holographic pit traps, corridors looped, forcing him to mark turns with scraped chalk, testing memory, spatial awareness. The gravity maze, a vast, cubical chamber where physics warped. Gravity shifted unpredictably. Floor became wall, pulling him sideways. Glowing panels pulsed complex sequences tied to overhead light, patterns. Whispers mocked his clumsiness. Falling again. "Calvin, can't even keep your feet on the ground. How can you navigate destiny?" He timed movements precisely, leaping between surfaces during low G, 0G, reading light sequences like music to anticipate shifts. Exhausting, mentally, taxing. He finally crossed by realizing the sequence wasn't random, but followed a repeating cycle linked to the twin suns, predicting the final shift to the exit. The mirror maze, a hall of crystalline mirrors reflecting twisted versions of himself, amplifying insecurities. Vorlag's failure, C's disappointment, Bark calculating demise, tempting illusions, the drifter waiting, Alira beckoning down a side passage, whispers relentless, seductive. "Just come this way." "Matt, it's over. She despises you." Look at her face. Panic surged. Desire to believe. Escape. Remembered the academy shame. Then Alira's advice, seek the pattern. Forced himself closer. Reflections vivid, but flawed. C missed her perpetual grease smudge. Bark's sensor color off. Alira lacked her defiant spark. The true path marked by the one panel reflecting him accurately, flaws and all, required brutal self-honesty to navigate the psychological traps. Hours passed. Ambient light warmed, lowered. Suns descending. Fatigue set in, aching muscles, dulling focus. Whispers grew insidious, dredging forgotten failures, amplifying anxieties about incompetence. He emerged into a large circular chamber. Calm, oppressive silence returned. Center, an elegant obsidian pedestal. Atop it, on black velvet, pulsed a glowing gem, identical to the Solara gem he'd eaten. "You found it!" cheered his own voice, triumphant. "The sunstone beacon. Grab it. You magnificent idiot. Get out. Home free." Matt hesitated. Exhaustion screamed. Instinct urged him to snatch the prize. Too easy. After hours of navigation, exertion, psychological assault, the objective just sitting there. Walls carved with intricate celestial maps. Suns, moons, stars. Checked chronometer. Suns nearing horizon. Light slanting dramatically through ceiling apertures. Beams striking specific map points. The pedestal. subtle, almost invisible touch-sensitive panels, disguised as carvings, mirroring wall symbols. The glowing gem wasn't the beacon, it was bait. Final test, logic over impulse. Whispers returned, frantic, urging him to take the gem before time ran out. Grab it, idiot! Sun's setting! Exit ceiling! Trapped forever! His own voice, panicked. Matt ignored them. Focused, light naps. Find the rhythm. Seek the pattern. Studied the illuminated wall map. Traced the light path across carvings, noting the symbol sequence. Moved quickly, precisely, touching corresponding pedestal panels in the exact sequence dictated by the light at that precise sunset moment. A low, resonant hum, deeper than usual. Touched panels glowed warm gold. Decoy gem dimmed, faded. Across the chamber, opposite his entry, a wall section slid silently open, revealing a small, bright alcove. Inside, on a stone shelf, a smaller, intricately faceted crystal, not pulsing erratically, but shining with warm, steady, golden light, the true sunstone beacon. Matt lunged, snatched the beacon just as the last sun sliver vanished below horizon markers. The main chamber plunged into near darkness. The alcove remained lit. Behind him, the heavy grind of the main entrance, sealing permanently. Chilling, stepped into the alcove. Walls slid shut. Another panel opened ahead, leading to a simple, lit tunnel sloping gently towards natural twilight. Whispers gone, replaced by his ragged breathing. The beacon's steady thrum clutched tight, warm, alive. Emerged, blinking, into Valerian twilight. Near the entrance arch, but separated by a newly materialized force field. Plaza still packed, crowd murmuring, pointing. On the balcony, C pumped a fist. Huge grin. Bark tracked him intensely, maybe recalculating probabilities. Queen Vadra's expression unreadable stone. Perhaps annoyance tightening her mouth. Princess Alira, however, was smiling. Small, genuine surprise, and, he hoped, approval. It transformed her face. High Counselor Torvin stepped forward, stunned, maybe impressed. Suitor Matt Calvin has emerged. Disbelief tinged his voice. He bears the Sunstone Beacon. He has, against considerable odds, completed the trial of strategy. Polite, bewildered applause rippled through the Valerians. Matt leaned heavily against the cool archway stone, exhausted but alive, clutching the beacon's warm light. One down, two lethal ones to go. Caught Alira's eye. She gave a subtle, almost imperceptible nod. Maybe this accidental proposal wouldn't be a complete disaster. Though Shadowfen Youngles still chilled his blood. Stage 5. Consequences and rising pressure respite between trials offered little comfort. Matt received reserved, formal, praise for his labyrinth success. Larger, less prison-like chambers, guards fractionally less menacing. Palace whispers shifted from scorn to grudging curiosity. But the Shadowfen loomed, overshadowing accomplishment. If the labyrinth tested mind, Shadowfen, per the archives, was a brutal crucible of body and spirit. C and Bark analyzed new data, biological surveys, fragmented logs. Topographical maps. Grim picture. Shadowfen wasn't just jungle, it was a sprawling, primordial ecosystem under unique, hostile rules. Hyper-aggressive fauna, weaponized flora poison, neurotoxins. Treacherous, terrain corrosive swamps. Razor vine, highlands. Unpredictable atmospheric anomalies, toxic gas pockets, electrical storms. Objective, retrieve a single Lunara bloom rare, bioluminescent, unique energy signature from the deepest, most dangerous heart. Return it intact before the third moon. Selene reached zenith. Simple. Except everything actively tried to kill, poison, incapacitate, or consume intruders. Okay, not logic puzzles or psych warfare, Sai said grimly, pointing at a hollow projection dense with warning symbols, predator territories, toxic zones, pure survival, hostile environment, .pex predators, limited resources, no backup, one wrong step, stalker chow or poison orchid fertilizer, dominant predator species. Shadow stalkers, particularly problematic, Bark added, displaying a terrifying holo-render, sleek, six-limbed reptilian, chameleonic skin, serrated, teeth rows, black multifaceted eyes absorbing light, primarily nocturnal, opportunistic diurnal hunters, highly territorial, fast-acting neurotoxic venom bite, retractable claws, sophisticated pack coordination, ambush tactics, sensory capabilities, thermal, electromagnetic, likely pheromonal, tracking. Avoidance recommended. Avoidance sounds great. Matt agreed fervently, swallowing. Hollow stalker looked like nightmare fuel. How does one avoid something called a shadow stalker that can smell my fear? In a place called the Shadowfen, preparations shifted to practical survival. Gear, lightweight enviro suit, limited toxin temp protection. Salt face filtration mask, integrated multi-spectrum visor. Comprehensive medkit, broad spectrum anti-toxins. Coagulants. Sonic repellent efficacy against stalkers. Theoretically possible but statistically improbable. Potentially. Aggravating point distress beacon activation equals failure. Assuming rescue possible. Queen Vedra remained aloof, observing distantly, expression unreadable. Matt saw her conferring with Security Chief Lyra. Guards seemed more watchful. Surveillance, not support, waiting for failure. Alira, however, took an active, supportive role. Citing tradition, allowing princess's guidance, not aid, she arranged consultation with Kalen, a retired Valerian tracker, grizzled, ancient, face a roadmap of scars, lived simply near the jungle edge. Alira escorted Matt personally. Kalen regarded Matt with hunting bird eyes, had ventured into Shadowfen fringes, mapping trails before quarantine. Advice practical. Delivered low, raspy, utterly grim. Jungle has laws off-worlder, older than palace decrees, Kalen said, gesturing at the ominous green wall. Rhythms, light shadow, predator prey, growth decay. Learn them quick. Move with them, or it swallows you. Don't fight the current. Find eddies. Tapped temple. Move with light. Rest deep when shadows gather. Every plant poisons. Every beast eats. Air turns hostile. Trust nothing seen easily. Less heard, Fen plays tricks. And stalkers. Expression hardened. Shadows made flesh jungle teeth. Swift, silent, smart. Hunt by scent. Sound. Fear you radiate. See one close. It allowed it. Running often excites them. Hope dwindled. So, what do I do? Kalen studied Matt intently. Alira watched, unreadable. Finally, Kalen leaned closer. Cryptic, predators. Yais, old legends, called them guardians of deep places, sacred groves where Lunara blooms grow. They hunt fear, aggression, show neither, show, respect, stillness. Maybe, shrugged non-committally, just maybe, they see something different than prey, someone who understands the rhythm. No further explanation. During the consultation, Alira asked Kalen knowledgeable questions about stalker dynamics, Lunara bloom range, revealing deep jungle understanding. Walking back, under the first rising moon. She spoke quietly. Kalen's right about rhythm. Matt, Shadowfen is dangerous, yes, but also alive. Balanced. Fiercely. My mother sees only danger, wilderness to conquer. Others, like Kalen, sea power, ancient life force, paused, looking towards the dark jungle. Trial is courage. Perhaps true courage isn't fighting blindly. Perhaps it's understanding, respecting power. Even when feared, her earnestness struck a chord. Less advice for a suitor, more shared belief. Thanks, Alira. He meant it. I'll try. Find the rhythm. Avoid becoming stalker kibble, armed with Kalen's terrifying counsel. C's frantic checks. Bark's grim forecast success now 9.4%. Alira's words. Matt stood at the trial start, a reinforced gate at the Shadowfen edge. Jungle loomed near solid wall of emerald. Blue. Black under twilight. Atmosphere thick. Humidity. Decay. Strange sweet alien blossoms. Air buzzed loudly with unseen insects. Strange. Multi-throated calls echoed from shadows. Alira approached just before. Serious. Eyes reflecting strange jungle light. Practical gear. Not royal attire. Matt Calvin. Labyrinth tested mind. Seeing patterns. Shadowfen tests. Spirit. Resilience. Facing fear. Heed Kalen. Heed the jungle's rhythm. Met. His gaze. Genuine concern. Courage isn't absence of fear. Courier. Action. Or sometimes stillness. Despite it. Her use of his name resonated. Personal. Shaky grin. I'll try not to get eaten, Your Highness. Alira. Faint smile. See that you don't. Matt Calvin. Softly. Step back as Torvin, even more unhappy near jungle, declared trial 2 open. Gate hissed open. Matt sealed filtration mask. Activated multi-spectrum visor highlighting dizzying heat signatures. Atmospheric warnings. Took one last look back. Plunged into green hell. Gate hissed shut. Swallowed. Instantly. Stage 6. Twist and all is lost moment approximation. The Shadowfen and beyond. The shift from sterile stone labyrinth was immediate. Visceral. Overwhelming. Shadowfen air. Thick. Heavy. Clung like wet velvet, tasted of chlorophyll. Decay. Thousand unfamiliar spores. Ground treacherous, tangled roots. Slick moss hiding sinkholes. Sucking mud, stealing boots. Sunlight filtered weakly through dense canopy. Casting perpetual shifting twilight. Shadows writhed with imagined threats. Every rustle, twig snap. Strange call sent adrenaline jolts. Forced focus. Kalen, move with rhythm. Observe. Moved slowly. Cautiously. Scanning constantly with multi-spectrum visor. Invaluable. Highlighting faint heat signatures. Identifying known toxic plants seemed like 80% of flora. Mapping terrain. Consulted sea Bark's map. Plotting course towards deep valley system where Lunara bloom. Grew estimated 1 full rotation journey. Jungle tested relentlessly. Giant carnivorous pitcher plants snapped shut overhead. Thick vines with neurotoxic thorns forced long detours. Iridescent stinging insect swarms. Drawn by heat. Forced reliance on suit integrity. Masking trail. Navigated ravines. With shimmering poisonous gas vents. Praying mask held. Crossed murky rivers concealing armored. Multi-jawed fish lunging at boots. Several times. Visor picked up fleeting. Large heat signatures, shadow stalkers moving peripherally. Forms blurring with active camouflage. Blood ran cold. Recalled. Kalen, don't run. Froze. Suppressed flight urge. Made himself small. Non-threatening. Altering course slowly, or finding cover until signature faded. Sonic repellent deterred smaller pests, elicited no reaction from larger signatures, stopped using it, fearing it attracted. Time became meaningless shifting dim light. Relentless muscle ache. Fatigue. Dehydration, despite rationing. Constant tension wore him down. Doubt told her, then labyrinth whispers. Crept in. Not a puzzle to outthink. Relentless primal grind against hostile world wanting him dead. Just a courier. What was he doing here? Finally, after what felt like days, chronometer insisted just over one rotation. Reached indicated region. Deep, mist-shrouded valley. Air strangely still. Cool, usual jungle cacophony faded to eerie. Reverent silence. Trees ancient. Colossal. Draped in glowing moss. Therein secluded. Clearing bathed in unusual moonlight shaft. Selene rising. Were the flowers. Breathtakingly beautiful. Petals like spun moonlight. Unfolding slowly. Radiating gentle. Pulsing silver blue light. Subtle calming energy pushing back gloom. Relief buckled his knees. Made it. Approached cautiously. Visor sweeping perimeter. Nothing. No heat signatures. Movement. Reached glowing flowers. Heart pounding triumph. Trepidation. Selected perfect bloom. Stem cool. Smooth, clipped cleanly with kit shears. Had it. Lunara bloom. Intact. Now, just get back out. That's when the silence shattered. Low, guttural growl vibrated the air, echoed from massive trees. Matt froze, clutching fragile, glowing bloom protectively. Visor lit like festival, multiple large heat signatures converging rapidly. Big ones, stalkers, at least 5, maybe 6. Terrifying speed. Silence. Backed away slowly. Hand instinctively reached for useless repellent. Stopped. Kalen's words sharp. Hunt fear. Aggression. Show neither. Respect. Stillness. What did that mean facing pack of 8 foot? 6-limbed killing machines. First stalker emerged. Even more terrifyingly elegant. Deadly than render 8 feet long. Rippling muscles under shifting. Shimmering skin blending seamlessly with moonlight. Shadows. Multiple obsidian eyes fixed on him. Unblinking. Intelligent. Saliva dripped from powerful jaws, revealing needle teeth. More followed. Silently. Flanking. Cutting retreat. Counted 6. Pack coordination. Ambush. Trap. Fear. Cold. Absolute. Gripped his throat. Instinct screamed. Run. Fight. Beacon. Anything. But Kalen's voice, Alira's face urging understanding, forced himself, through terror-fueled willpower, to stand perfectly still, consciously lowered hands, open, away from body, held. Delicate Lunara bloom gently before him, letting soft light illuminate his face. Flower. Met lead stalker's gaze, forced himself not to look away, desperately projecting calmness he didn't feel. Respect, not prey. Lead stalker tilted head, low clicking sounds, cautious step closer, nostrils. Flaring. Tasting air, his scent. Fear. Other 5 poised. Muscles bunched, watching. Waiting for attack signal. Matt felt heart hammering. Forced slow, steady breath, deliberately non-threatening stance. Didn't hide bloom, held slightly forward, like offering, symbol of peaceful intrusion. Lead. Stalker lowered head slightly, gaze shifting from Matt's face to glowing flower. More soft clicks. Less aggressive now. More inquisitive. Calculating. Another stalker responded similarly. Matt held breath. Less prelude to attack. More tense. Silent discussion. Risked slow. Deliberate step. Backward. Stalkers watched. Tense, but didn't advance. Another slow step. Still watched. Initial predatory aggression checked, replaced by intense scrutiny. Kaelin's offhand comment, guardians of deep places, sacred groves. This clearing, third moonlight, rare bloom, sacred to them, was his, non-aggression, careful handling, lack of panic interpreted differently than previous intruders' terror or violence, continued agonizingly slow retreat, never turning back completely, keeping Bloom visible, stalkers shadowed, melting into deeper darkness, flanking distantly as he moved cautiously, from valley mouth, didn't attack, unnerving, like silent wolf escort that might turn any time, but let him go. Reached denser jungle edge, lead stalker stopped at threshold, watched one long, intense moment, dark eyes boring into soul, then turned silently, melted back with pack, vanished. Matt didn't stop, pushed through undergrowth urgently, miles away, collapsed behind giant fossilized trunk, body trembling uncontrollably, adrenaline crash. Reaction. Hadn't fought, hadn't outrun, hadn't used repellent, had coexisted. Communicated primal respect. Non-aggression. Looked down at pristine, unharmed Bloom. Gentle blue light, a small miracle against deep jungle darkness. Journey back arduous, same physical dangers, but moved with newfound, cautious confidence. Terror remained, tempered with deeper respect for Shadowfen, tentative understanding of fierce balance. Still feared jungle, maybe hated less, felt fraction of rhythm, moved quieter, observed keener, felt less intruder, more transient presence. Emerged as Selene reached zenith, casting long silvery shadows, scratched, bruised, mud-caked, dehydrated, utterly exhausted, but alive, clutching softly glowing Lunara bloom. See, rushed forward. Gate opened, relief etched deep, steadying him. Bark performed quick bioscan, vitals stable, indicative of extreme exertion, sustained stress, toxin levels nominal, neurosignature coherent, minimal residual fear markers. Survival probability increased from 9.4% to satisfactory. Well done, Matthew. Matt managed tired, shaky grin, held up flower, light pulsed with weary heartbeat. Alira stepped from shadows near gate, eyes shining undisguised admiration, relief, took Bloom gently. Soft blue light reflecting in dark eyes, illuminating face. You face the heart of the Shadowfen, courier, she said, voice filled with quiet awe, softer than before, and returned. Not through violence, luck, but understanding, respect. You have passed the trial of courage, Queen Vedra observed, flanked by guards, expression tighter, almost thunderous, clearly hadn't expected. This, perhaps counted on his demise. Matt didn't care. Survived, proven something. Maybe just to himself, lazy courier could find different strength. Looked at Alira holding glowing flower, face softened by light, relief. Felt connection, shared triumph beyond trials. Protocols, accidental, proposals. Later, showered, fed ravenously, medically tended. Alira found him on his quarters balcony, looking at 3 moons sailing across star-dusted sky. City glittered below. Thoughtful, she said quietly, beside him, close enough to smell faint night blooming valerian jasmine. Processing, Matt admitted. Jungle, changes perspective, looked at her. Thank you. Advice, rhythm, courage. You found it, Matt, she replied. Fingers brushed healing scratch on his arm. Didn't pull away. Brief touch sent unexpected warmth. Comfortable silence. You know, she said softly, gazing at moons. My mother believes trials prove strength, dominance, right to rule. But founders, Texts hint something else. Strategy for understanding systems. Courage, not just to fight, but respect power. Find balance. Harmony. Trailed off. Harmony's next. Matt asked. Fresh apprehension. Sky Peak. Shrine. Activating ancient tech. Celestial Navigator. Elira confirmed. Final trial. Most enigmatic. Potentially most dangerous. Turned fully. Serious, but open in moonlight. Be careful. Matt Calvin. His name, again. Genuine concern. Unexpected intimacy. Stirred something beyond relief. Gratitude. 2 down. 1 impossible sounding to go. Trial of harmony. Activate ancient navigation system. Remote mountain shrine. Treacherous climb. How hard could that possibly be? He really needed to stop asking that. Stage 7. Climax. The Sky Peak Shrine. Sky Peak Shrine. Location of the final. Trial of harmony. Wasn't just high. It pierced Valeris's upper atmosphere atop core Valar sky heart, the planet's highest. Jagged, ice-encrusted spire. Reaching it was a trial itself. Treacherous alpine terrain. Vertical ice walls. Hurricane winds. Sub-zero temperatures freezing exposed skin instantly. The true challenge, per fragmented data, and Elira's tense briefing, lay within. It housed the Celestial Navigator. Legendary founder artifact. Complex ancient tech, rumored to plot courses through space and unknown dimensions. Activation required unique resonance. Harmony between operator and machines ancient. Powerful energy. Unsuccessfully attempted for centuries. Believed dormant. Broken or incomprehensible. Recap, Matt said. Studying blurry schematics. See projected. Climb Everest's angrier cousin. Survive hull-stripping winds. Avoid freezing solid. Then, psychically harmonize with temperamental alien super tech dormant for millennia. Possibly powered by trapped souls. Shook head. Less trial for prince consort. More final exam for xenotech archaeologist with death wish and psychic powers I lack. Navigator energy readings, even dormant, are highly unusual. Psi mused. Zooming on diagrams of crystalline conduits defying analysis. Not standard fusion. Team matter. 0 point older. Fundamental. Decipherable logs mention bio-resonant frequency alignment. Operator matrix synchronicity. Translation. Machine needs to like you share DNA. Matt frowned. Crude. Potentially accurate. Bark interjected. Accessing orbital sensor data. Historical accounts. Bordering mythology. Suggest navigator interfaces directly with operators' neural pathways. Possibly genetic structure or bioenergy field. Compatibility. Specific resonance. Frequency. May be non-negotiable prerequisite. Harmony likely refers to achieving this complex biotechnological synchronicity. Probability of random off-worlder possessing required compatibility. Statistically negligible. Approaching 0. Genetic compatibility. Disturbingly specific. Incredibly unlikely. Familiar sinking feeling. Like failed simulator tests. Maybe the impossible hurdle. Ensuring no one ever completed all 3. Upset the order. Preparations. Specialized high-altitude gear. Multi-layered thermal suits. Oxygen recirculation masks. Valerian alloy crampons. Ice axes. Emergency shelters. Concentrated nutrient packs. Unlike previous trials, Sea and Bark could accompany him to the base, providing remote support tech, weather, bio-monitoring from shielded atmospheric shuttle, climb and navigator interaction. Matt alone, at desolate, wind-scoured mountain base. Camp, near glacier line. Elira met him one last time. Air thin. Biting cold. Pressed small. Smooth stone. cool but humming faintly, into his gloved hand, etched with shifting symbols. Keystone, she explained, voice tight against wind howl. Founder artifact. Passed down my line. Legend claims. It aids attuning, amplifying compatible resonance. Mother dismissed it as superstition, but met his eyes, earnest, hopeful, fearful for him. Perhaps it helps find harmony with Mountain. Navigator. Dynamic shifted subtly since Shadowfen. Awkwardness replaced by mutual respect. Shared. Vulnerability. Maybe tentative beginnings of something deeper. Unacknowledged. Thanks, Alira, Matt said, closing glove over resonating stone. Felt warm now, almost alive. I'll be exceptionally harmonious. Won't touch strange fruit. Promise. Small smile despite tension. Just come back. Matt. Queen Vedra also present, observing final checks. Sharp scrutiny, flanked by Lyra, imposing guards in cold weather gear. No encouragement, just long. Assessing look chilling. Matt, unrelated to cold. Felt less interested in whether he succeeded, more in how he might, or how he'd fail. Predatory interest. Climb brutal, pushing Matt beyond limits. Razor ridges over dizzying crevasses. Howling. Ice-laden winds threaten constantly. Air thin like breathing ice shards. Burning lungs despite mask. Pushed onward, hour after agonizing hour. Driven by unknown stubbornness. Adrenaline. Nutrient paste. Image of Alira's face. Keystone pulsed faint warmth. Anchor in overwhelming hostility. Sea's voice guided routes. Analyzed ice. Forecast wind shear. Bark calculated structural integrity. Avalanche risk. Matt's declining biosigns. The whiteout, traversing high. Exposed saddle. Ferocious blizzard descended instantly. Visibility 0. Wind screaming. Disoriented, lost markers, panic threatened, lost frozen, failure inevitable, hypoxic hallucination, fought it down. Kalen, find rhythm. Even in storm. Stop. Deployed emergency shelter. Dome. Anchored, waited. Focused. Breath. Conserved warmth. Trusted Sea's forecast. Huddled inside. Shivering despite suit, staring into swirling white void, despair terrifyingly close. Thought of quitting, activating booster. Then, Alira waiting, Vedra's cold gaze. Satisfaction of labyrinth, awe of Shadowfen. Wouldn't quit, storm, broke. Revealing path under harsh suns on snow. Pushed on. Grimly determined. After eternity of vertical struggle, hauled himself onto summit. Sky Peak Shrine, vast open platform carved from peak, exposed to elements, near space void above. Strange crystalline structures jutted, humming with palpable energy vibrating teeth fillings. Center, dominating platform, celestial navigator. Breathtaking, terrifying, beautiful. Not machine as understood, but complex gyroscope of interlocking rings, solidified light. Shimmering crystal rotating slowly, silently around core pulsing deep. Rhythmic. Glow like captured miniature nebula. Air crackled with static. Low, powerful hum vibrated through stone. Okay, sea bark. Matt breathed into calm, raspy. Odd. Dizzy despite mask. Here. Made it. Navigator. Wow. Not standard Federation tech. Massive. Multi-spectrum energy fluctuations. Matt. C's voice, tight scientific excitement. Profound concern. Off-known charts. Exotic particles. Microgravitational lensing. Approach extreme caution. Barely stable readings. Walked slowly towards humming navigator. Boots crunching ice. Keystone pulsed stronger warmth, vibrating slightly in sync. Neared, glowing rings faltered slightly. Core light brightened, shifted violet to gold. Strange mental pull, resonance. Tuning fork, vibrating in skull. Reached base. No obvious controls, keyboards, interfaces. Just swirling energy. Humming rings. Overwhelming ancient power. How do I even talk to Toit? Utterly lost. Bio-resonant frequency alignment. Matthew. Bark reminded calmly. Operator matrix synchronicity compatibility. Harmony. Harmony. Labyrinth. Logical calm amidst chaos. Shadowfen. Non-aggressive respect. Balance. Maybe harmony wasn't forcing. Commanding. Maybe. Listening. Understanding rhythm. Energy. Closed eyes. Shutting out spectacle. Ignoring cold. Thin air. Focused entirely on hum. Navigator's deep thrum vibrating through platform. Body. Held pulsing keystone out. Pressed gently against crystalline base. Didn't push. Probe it. Analyze. Command. Just opened. Himself. Tried matching internal state. Breath. Heartbeat. Mental focus to machines. Calm. Powerful. Ancient rhythm. Seeking resonance. Control. Effect. Instantaneous. Overwhelming. Mind merging. Expanding impossibly fast. Connecting with something vast. Ancient. Complex. Information flooded. Senses intuitive understanding. Star charts unfolded. Mentally known galaxies. Interleaved dimensions. Folded space-time pathways. Cosmic phenomena beyond comprehension. Navigator rings spun faster. Glowing brilliantly. Projecting intricate holographic maps. Equations. Bathing mountaintop in ethereal light. Saw Valeris hanging. Galaxy. Then shimmering pathways beyond into uncharted realms. Saw founder's journey. Saw potential futures for Valaris exploration. Discovery. Navigator wasn't just map. Key. Gateway. Tool of unimaginable potential. Then probing deeper via keystone. Felt something else. Deeper layer. Heavily shielded. Dormant but thrumming with immense, terrifying power. Power source drawing directly. Massively. From planet's molten core. Not navigation. Not exploration. Defensive. Or. Chillingly. Offensive. Planetary scale weapon. Sharp. Agonizing pain lanced. Through head. Alarms blared calm. Shrine structures. Harsh red warning lights flashed across beautiful holocharts, turning ominous. Intruder alert! Unauthorized access attempt. Bark's voice crackled. Urgent. Multiple encrypted. High-energy signals attempting interface through your established neural link. Matthew, piggybacking. Bypassing security. Matt staggered back, gasping. Clutching head. Connection snapping. Charts collapsed to static. Pain subsided, leaving dizziness. Nausea. Profound violation. Who? How? Answer arrived. Whining shuttle descending rapidly. Landed heavily. Figures emerged. Tactical precision palace guards. Aggressive movements. Rifles ready, leading them. Striding confidently. Cloak billowing. Queen Vedra. Face no longer masked, but triumphant. Ruthless certainty. Excellent work. Courier. Vedra sneered. Voice cutting through wind. Amplified. Eyes. Fixed not on Matt, but dimming Navigator. Proven remarkably. Compatible. Precise catalyst required. More than hoped. What is this, Your Majesty? Matt demanded, warily getting up. Keystone clutched. This, Vedra declared. Gesturing dramatically, is Valeris's true destiny. Our destiny. Founders left means to reclaim rightful place, not pathetic isolationists, but rulers. Navigator. Correctly attuned. channels core energy into weapon-shattering fleets, pacifying worlds, ensuring Valaris dictates terms. Matt stared, horrified. Pieces clicking sickeningly. Payment. Clearance. Offering. Timing. Trials. You want to turn this planet into a doomsday weapon. Centuries we hid. Vedra spat. Composure cracking. Raw fanaticism revealed. Scrabbling while lesser species claimed undeserved dominion. Convergence. Trials not just finding suitable mate for sentimental daughter, finding the key, someone, something, with specific genetic resonance. Biofrequency required by founder tech to awaken planet's dormant power. Suspected potential dormant in royal line. Diluted. Engineered Solera gem legend. Enhanced properties. Hoping to lure identify compatible noble. Then you random off-worlder. Blundered in. Consumed catalyst. Proved perfect. Unanticipated key. Mind raced. Success wasn't luck skill. Specific genetic fluke made him uniquely compatible. Trait Vedra needed. Delivery. Client. Access. Accidental consumption. All orchestrated. Or manipulated. Alira. Matt asked quietly, voice tight with anger. Does she know? Turning her home into weapon. My daughter. Vedra scoffed contemptuously, blinded by youthful idealism, foolish dreams of peaceful exploration. Genuinely thinks trials her clever way to avoid arranged marriage while upholding tradition. Designed them, with my subtle guidance, to be impossible, hoping none succeeded. Freeing her. Underestimated destiny. Power in our bloodline. And, I admit, your surprising tenacity. Eyes glittered coldly. She'll understand. Once Valeris commands respect, fear, she'll thank me. Guard near edge, raised rifle not at Matt, but back towards tunnel entrance. Blue stun blast erupted. Cry of pain. Alira's voice followed him, brought against will. Secure the princess. Vedra commanded sharply, not glancing back. Must witness dawn of new Valerian age. Lesson in pragmatism. Turn back. Cruel. Triumphant smile. Your genetic signature. Resonance frequency. Now imprinted on activation systems. Courier. Need final power up sequence. Using you as final biological conduit. Small sacrifice for galactic supremacy. Ultimate delivery. Guards loyal only to Vedra advanced. Purposefully. Matt back towards humming navigator. No weapon. Nowhere to run. But felt connection. Understood energy flow. New deeper layer. Weapon system. If he connected again. Guards lunged. Another shuttle screamed overhead. Descending smaller. Sleeker. Familiar battered stardust drifter. Side hatch blew open. C leaned out. Firing modified plasma cutter. Bolts forcing guards cover. Bark stomped down ramp. Shoulder repeaters unfolding. Suppressing fire. Forcing Vedra's guards back. Need lift. Boss. C yelled over chaos. Welcoming committee got out of hand. Hope surged. His crew came for him. Vedra undeterred. Prize threatened. Plan unraveling. Snarled rage. Drew sleek energy pistol. Fired directly at Matt. Pain exploded chest. White hot. Blinding. Staggered back violently. Hit cold navigator base hard. Looked down. Shocked scorched hole in suit. Spreading crimson. Stain. Bad, very bad. World tilted. Sounds muffled. Vedra advanced. Pistol aimed. Face contorted fury. Determination. Pity. Waste of compatible specimen. But connection. Genetic imprint lingering. All I truly need now. Reached for control interface. Emerged silently from base. Responding to royal. Lineage. preparing manual weapon activation using his residual signature. Matt slumped against Navigator, darkness encroaching, dying, felt life draining. Vader couldn't succeed, still felt machine thrum. Connection echo fading consciousness. Weapon system, planetary core energy, rerouted, redirected. Last dregs strength, focusing will through searing pain, encroaching blackness. Reached mind out one last time, touching Navigator core via lingering imprint, amplified by keystone still clutched. Bypassed weapon protocols. Vader engaged. Searched desperately. Primary energy. Regulators. Planetary power distribution conduits. Found controls for Valaris planetary defense grid shields. Orbital platforms seen on arrival. Ancient powerful. Linked to core tap. Designed for protection. Grasped overwhelming energy flow. Vader channeled. Ripped sideways. Final desperate surge. Of will. Diverting raw, untamed planetary power from weapon systems. Pouring directly into defense grid. Supercharging far beyond normal. Locking into maximum, impenetrable protection. Energy surged visibly through shrine structures. Overloading Vadra's interface. Showering sparks. Throwing her back. Crying rage. Surprise. Far below, lights blazed across planet as ancient defense grid flared brilliant gold, bathing Valaris in protective, impenetrable energy shield. Navigator flared brilliantly white, pulsed, then dimmed significantly. Rings slowing. Core returning stable, deep. Dormant. Hum. Weapon contained. Disarmed. Power diverted entirely to protection. Matt collapsed onto icy platform, consciousness fading rapidly. Last hazy sight. Alira, broken free somehow, running towards him, face mask horror, desperate concern. Saw C. Bark fighting closer through disorganized guards. Heard Vadra screaming impotent fury as other shuttles loyalist palace security, alerted by energy surge. Contacted by Alira. Psi arrived. Troops rappelling down, surrounding, apprehending stunned queen. Rogue guards. Stopped her. Valeris safe. Alira safe. Maybe. Delivery wasn't such bad job. Vision. Went black. Stage 8. Resolution and aftermath consciousness returned slowly, like swimming from silent depths. First, muffled sounds, rhythmic beeps of medical monitors. Low hum of environmental controls, sterile scent of professional medbay. Then, dull ache deep in chest, phantom echo of pain, manageable. Risked opening eyes, soft light, pristine white walls, advanced biomonitors. Not drifters. Cramped medbay. Tried sitting up, winced, gentle pressure stopped him, turned head slowly. Alira sat beside his bio bed, expression complex, profound relief, deep exhaustion, something warm, gentle, affection. Looked different, not just simple clothing instead of royal attire. Wound terrible, fortunate paradox. Saved your life, along with C's emergency stasis field. That, and your rather dramatic planetary energy grid manipulation. Matt managed weak, raspy grin. Just rerouting surges. Didn't want neighborhood accidentally weaponized before I collected hazard pay. Voice rough. Alira smiled. Genuine. Warm, reaching eyes. Mother is confined. Royal wing. Heavy guard. Her faction disarmed. Detained. Royal Council. In emergency session. Deliberating Valaris's future. Seems her plans for galactic conquest, funded by off-world benefactors providing the gem, weren't widely shared or approved. Navigator, Matt asked. Memory vivid, dormant. Stable, safe, thanks to you. Alira confirmed. Your intervention permanently locked weaponization offline. diverting power conduit to reinforce defense grid indefinitely. Used its destructive potential for ultimate safety feature. Xenotech's baffled, eternally grateful. You saved us, Matt, all of us. From Mother's fanaticism, perhaps from ourselves. Temptations of misunderstood power. Just doing job. Matt deflected. Words inadequate. Job I accidentally signed up for via Sweet Tooth. Idiocy. Speaking of accidental jobs, Alira continued. Familiar mischief returning. Council. Light of recent events revealing potential abuse in hereditary system, facing popular pressure. Exploring new governance. Formally. Unanimously nullified trials of accord. Given dubious origins tied to Mother's plot and your unique, terrifying completion. Profound relief washed over him. No forced marriage. Proposal officially off. Good. Excellent. Saves figuring out wedding gifts. Toasters still a thing. Alira laughed softly. Musical. Compulsory proposal via accidental sacred fruit. Consumption during solar convergence is off. Yes. Royal consort position. Vacant. Likely indefinitely. As princess's position itself might soon be historically obsolete. Quiet moment. Monitors beeping. Comfortable silence. So. Matt said eventually, looking at her strength, intelligence, purpose, replacing weariness. What happens now? Alira looked towards viewport, Valeris hanging like emerald sapphire jewel against starfield. Now, voice-filled quiet determination. We rebuild, redefine ourselves, decide own future. Matt, not conquerors driven by fear, not timid isolationists, but Valerians, explorers, perhaps. Scientists, diplomats. We have celestial navigator map to stars, not weapon. Once safely understood, weeks passed. Matt recovered under expert Valerian care and sees enthusiastic profane fussing recalibrating half the med bay. Valeris underwent quiet, peaceful revolution. Council dotted by Alira. Responding overwhelming popular support. Dissolved hereditary monarchy. Drafted constitution. Scientific. Exploratory republic. Dedicated peaceful engagement. Responsible founder legacy study. Queen Vaedra. After fair hearing revealing full plans dealings. Sentenced comfortable permanent exile. Strip titles influence. First planetary election. Alira chosen overwhelmingly first president merit. Trust, not birthright. Cleared for travel. Matt C. Bark, prep drifter at same platform. Anonymous client vanished. Tainted payment irrelevant. Strange. Reluctance to leave. Valeris, or person leading it. Gotten under his skin. Last day. President Alira found Matt on platform, looking at breathtaking city under twin suns. Practical attire. New grounded authority more compelling than title. Leaving us. Courier, she asked gently, beside him. Matt turned, hands deep in clean jacket pockets. Yeah, guess so. Places to be, maybe. Deliveries too, probably avoid. Reputation as lazy but reliable low-profile courier shot across 7 sectors. Might have to actually apply myself. Scary. Valaris owes you debt it can never repay. Matt Calvin, Alira said seriously. Gaze direct. Sincere. Nah. Matt shrugged, deflecting intensity. Though words warmed him. Call it even for fruit. Seriously, really good fruit, worth facing stalkers. Power-mad queen, comfortable silence. City sounds drifted up. Palace energy hummed. You know, Matt said, eventually. studying platform patterns, not looking directly. Now that trials of accord and accidental magical fruit proposal are off table. You're not technically royalty. I'm technically, spectacularly unemployed. Alira waited, turning slightly. Small knowing smile. Felt her gaze. Matt took, deep breath, finally met her eyes. Okay, Calvin. Brave one more time. What I mean is, remember completing trials earned right to formally ask. You said acceptance wasn't guaranteed. Choice remained yours. Hesitated. Plunged ahead. Well, is that an offer? Where you choose, potentially still. On. Table. Voluntarily. No ancient laws. Life or death challenges. Planetary weapons. Just asking. Alira stepped closer. Eyes sparkling warmth. Amusement. Sunlight catching deep blues. Greens. Proposing again. Matt Calvin. Properly. Maybe. Matt grinned sheepishly, flushing, hope surging. Possibly. Turns out, delivering future to planet, nearly getting killed multiple times, makes you reconsider own future, who you might want to spend it with. Alira laughed, clear, happy sound echoing, chasing old regime shadows. Reached out, took offered hand, grip firm, warm. Matt Calvin, courier, accidental suitor, hero of Valeris. Yes. Smile radiant, offer potentially, definitely, on table. Squeezed his hand gently, and yes. My choice is yes. Epilogue. 6 months later, bridge of newly commissioned Valerian deep space vessel, VSS TARSEEKER, hummed quiet energy. Built for exploration. War. Design incorporating safe, non-weaponized principles, learned from careful navigator study, blended with Federation tech, improved by C's genius. Consoles displayed distant star systems, atmospheres, potential contacts. President Alira stood near main viewscreen. Starfield. Vast. Beside her, Matt Calvin, no longer worn jacket, but smart dark blue exploration corps uniform. First officer insignia gleaming, posture straighter. Gaze focused. Familiar wry humor dancing in eyes. Engineering console. C diagnostics master channeled restless energy monitoring. Experimental warp field harmonics. Cursing relays. Bark occupied co-pilot seat. Multifaceted optical sensors gleaming calm efficiency. Cross-referencing navigation. Readily accepted Valerian Republic contract alongside Matt Alira. Core directive maintain operational integrity with primary user. Fulfilled by larger crew. Preparing for Valeris's maiden voyage under new banner, not conquerors. Isolationists. But explorers. Scientists. Diplomats seeking connection. Understanding. Peaceful exchange. First destination, promising nebula flagged by navigator scans, potential founder clues or new wonders. Matt looked at Alira, face illuminated by star chart glow, expression filled determination, quiet excitement. Still couldn't believe trajectory. Sarcastic courier to accidental suitor to unlikely hero to first officer exploring unknown galaxy with brilliant, courageous woman he loved. 1. Heck of delivery run. Best. By far. Nervous. Mr. First Officer. Alira asked teasingly, eyes warm. Nah. Matt grinned back, arm slipping around her waist, eager see what's out there. Besides, nodded towards view screen. Star chart pulsing possibility. Faced worse than unknown nebulae. Remember labyrinth. Stalkers. How forget. Alira leaned against him slightly. Remarkably courageous. Only because had good motivation, he murmured. looking at her. Engage warp drive on my mark. Lieutenant, Alira commanded, voice clear authority. Pilot nodded. C thumbs up. Barks. Sensors pulsed acknowledgement. Matt looked from Alira's determined profile to endless beckoning starfield. Engines hummed. New lullaby. Promise adventure. Shared journeys. Ready together. Mark. Starseeker elongated. Shimmered. Vanished into swirling hyperspace vortex. Carrying Valaris's hopes. Matt Calvin's unexpected new life. Out towards waiting stars.